So when you come from a neighborhood like I come from, the first person you see with money and feel like they got everything is the drug dealers, right? When I fell in love with football, it made me realize I didn't have to deal drugs. Because by then, my pops drugs had taken my dad away. So I hated even thinking about doing drugs. Football gave me an opportunity to dream bigger. I wanted to play in the NFL. I wanted to be great. And it was a position where I was able to take this aggression out. Right?
Yeah.
Even though I didn't know where it came from. In them jail visits, I used to be embarrassed because I'm a kid that goes to a school with all these white kids who got money. And their parents, they got two parents coming through the door. Or if they don't, mom and dad is somewhere. But I didn't have that. And so I used to be super embarrassed. So I would lie about where my dad was to my friends. My dad ended up calling and saying he was getting out of jail. But I had heard this for the last 10 years. And he ended up getting out and was able to see me play football. It was the first time in my life where I felt whole. It was like a movie being around him. Like I would just sometimes just stare at him because like I looked at him as like a god. Like there was a god to me, man. I was a black male with his dad. They came from our circumstances. None of my friends had their pops. I think I might have had one or two people that I hung out with out of probably 10 that had a dad that was visible. You know, the worst part after a funeral is when you're by yourself. And that idle mind starts to play tricks on you. It was in one moment where I was just sitting in the room going crazy. My mom had took me to a therapist, but it was a white therapist. He wasn't interested in my story, and I couldn't connect. And so I didn't go back. I went one time. I was like, I can't go back in there with him. Like, he don't understand. I sat in that room. I thank God, man, it was just like, snap out of it. I had to become a man, but I had to become a man that saw something at the end of the tunnel that wouldn't allow me to ruin it. It really just sitting in there by myself and really like, all right, let's figure this out. Because I'm hurt, but I really don't know what this hurt is supposed to feel like because it's the deepest hurt I've ever felt. So I took that pain, bottled it up, and threw it away inside of me somewhere else. I'm going back here. I'm going to do football. I'm going to college. I'm going to the NFL. If I hold on to this too long, which when I became an adult, I realized what I really did was just suppressed it. Right. But as a teenager, I saw it as a unique opportunity to put that somewhere else and we'll deal with that later. Let's focus on what we're here to do. And that's kind of where football kind of took me. I knew who the guy was that killed my dad at this point. He was standing in this party. I thought I was tripping. I got ain't no way. You know, I got a daughter, I got a 1-year-old daughter, and she's like everything for me. I walked past him twice because I wanted to see if he knew who I was.
Right.
Wasn't paying attention. So you know how those cartoons have like the devil and the angel on your shoulders? I'm going through that moment in this party like, I'm about to kill him. But on the other shoulder, it's like, man, you got a daughter, bro. You kill him, your daughter is going to grow up like you grew up. So I called my mom. I said, Mama, he in here. And she's like, what? I said, man, the person that killed my daddy in this party right now, and I know it's him. And she said, you got to go. And I said, nah, I'm going to call you back. And hung up. So I looked at my best friend and said, bro, the person that killed my daddy in this party, he think I'm tripping, but he can see on my face I'm serious. I was like, I'm going to leave. And he said, you sure? He was like, yeah. So he tried to hand me the keys. I said, bro, I can't take your keys. He's like, I'll Uber back. But if I took his keys, I can't promise I'm going to get to this car and I get this gun.
Right.
So I Ubered to my mom's house. I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning. It felt like I had passed my biggest test in the world. I felt so empowered with just everything that had happened that I knew I had passed the test. And then after that, it was like, I can truly say I forgave him. When we hear it, it's like, man, ain't nobody about to know I'm scared. But I'm scared as hell. The kids I work with in the streets, I'm like, y'all want to die? I'm scared to die. I'm sure. I'm only asking you because there's only 2 ways this goes. Then they get to thinking. Or I walk in a room with kids and I be like, man, statistics say that only 3 of us are going to stay alive in here. Who going to die? And they get to looking around like, hell no, all of us staying alive. I said, so we got to change the statistics. Because that's the first thing they're going to tell y'all. Most of this stuff be out of fear, but it has to be because we talk about systemic racism and stuff. Black men the ones that was really, really getting not saying black women weren't, but for so long, black men been the targets.
Right.
Not only from racist people, we talk about police, we talk about systems, but to ourselves. If I see another black man and I'm immediately judging him, that's off of fear because of where I came from, what I've already consumed about him. It ain't because of, I just hate black men.
Right.
It's because I'm scared. Because what if he do something to me? But why is it the first thing we go to? Because we don't feel protected. If I didn't do something big, I would die. It made me very, very scared of failure. right? It made me feel like if I failed, I was letting the world down. I dealt with being a people pleaser for a long, long time. And I think that stemmed that from childhood. I just wanted to be, I was a follower at one point. I wanted to feel like I was a part of something. And it was scary. You know what I mean? It was scary having to feel like I wasn't enough. And I accomplished a whole lot, but I still had doubts of like who I really was. So for me, I had to build myself up a bunch of times. And I think people get scared when they fall because they don't really know how to rebuild. I had to rebuild a lot. I lost myself a few times and I had to rebuild that person I wanted to be. Right. Now I'm the person I want to be now. You know what I mean? I genuinely love you and I want you to be better. I want you to get better. I want you to feel better. You're valuable, extremely valuable. And just because where you came from or the circumstances and situations may be what they were, they'll never devalue who you are. So keep that in mind. Feel better. Be that number one person in your life and do what needs to be done so you can get back to that person. And use your resources. So if you got a safe person you can talk to or somebody reach out. If one of us is hurt, that's one more person we need to be healed or healing. We're here, man, and we all going through stuff. We walk in the same walk.
I say, a lot of black men confuse people pleasing and providing. Right. They think it's the same thing. And it's not, bro. People pleasing is like, I'm gonna say yes to whatever. I'm a man, I gotta do it. Providing is, I'm gonna say yes to what I have capacity for. And I gotta check my capacity first before I give out my yes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But for a lot of us, we've learned that, you are the bottom. When it comes to the stack rank of priorities and needs, your needs are all the way down here. Everybody else's needs are always going to be on top of yours. So you can always say yes to something because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you got going on. You got to make sure you are doing all these other things for other people because we think that is what providing is. I'm providing for all these people on top of me. But no, what you're really doing is just saying yes to everything. You're people pleasing. And you're wondering why at the end of all of that, you are exhausted, you hate your life and you hate the people around you and why you resent all these different kind of things. And it's because, bro, you're not checking in with yourself. You're not checking with your capacity before you go out here and doing things, bro. So, and you know what I want people to do when they hear happy wife, happy life? I want them to reframe it. It said happy spouse, happy house. I'm not saying that the wife is not supposed to be happy. Of course, her happiness matters. Of course it matters.
Yep.
But we just can't put our happiness to the wayside and be like, nah, it don't matter what you're doing ever.
Yep.
Like, nah, we got to make sure that there's equity here, that there's both parties are getting an equal share of happiness, at least. And I know in relationships that like, bro, you're going to have moments where you're doing 70, she may be doing 30, or she may be doing 70 and you may be doing 30. Right? We get that. But at the end of the day, when y'all come together, y'all sit down, y'all lay down your heads, y'all got to be able to say like, I'm happy with where we are in this present moment.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And I know where we're going is only going to get better.
Yep.
And if that's not the case, if you having conversations with yourself as a man, like, I really hate this and this is making me miserable, you owe it to yourself to figure out what you need to do to mitigate that.